the bill is passed, the political promises have been made, but the real challenge begins now. Implementation. After months of student anger, allegations of paper leaks, and a nationwide demand for accountability, the focus must shift from Parliament to the ground. Stronger laws can raise the cost of exam fraud, but laws alone cannot secure an examination system. The government will now have to frame detailed rules, strengthen surveillance, tighten digital and physical security, and ensure that investigating agencies act swiftly. The proposed special fast-track courts must also move from paper to reality so that cases do not remain stuck for years. Most importantly, the system must be able to prevent a leak before it happens, not merely punish those responsible after lakhs of students have suffered. Today on Mission Exam Shield, the question is no longer whether the bill will pass, it has. The question now is, can India build an exam system students can trust? Joining us for now on this discussion is Dr. Milind Padalkar. He's the Dean at the Prestige University of Indore. Dr. Padalkar, thank you very much for joining me on this. I hope you can hear me.
I can hear you very well. Can you hear me?
Yes, yes. Good morning. Thank you very much for joining us. I'll begin with my first question. So, NewsX has started Mission Exam Shield, where we are taking suggestions on how to better conduct competitive exams and how to avoid leaks. Could you help with 3 suggestions on how that can be done?
Well, my suggestions are going to be to look into the realm of technology. It is technology that can create a standardized platform as well as something that people can trust. Look, we have had technology in experience, right? We have Aadhaar and people trust Aadhaar. So technology can provide answers, and this is not an unsolved problem. Nationwide tests are being conducted in other countries. For instance, US has had SATs as well as GREs and GMATs, and they've never been any problems. So we need to invest into technology, and that could give you a big measure of success as well as trustworthiness.
Right, Dr. Padalkar, the government has also announced an exam leaks task force which will submit its report. Do you think that the powers of this task force should be expanded?
I don't believe so. I think these are competent people, both on the task force as well as people in the ministry who are seized with the matter. So I am only going to guess because I cannot second guess what the task force will tell us. But my guess would be that they would come up with a solution that is largely technology oriented. And perhaps they could tier the exams. For instance, right now there is one exam that decides your future, and that understandably builds anxiety and panic. Why would you not consider a tiered exam structure like we already have in JEE, which we have JEE Main and JEE Advanced, right? And that has been working for quite a few years now. So my guess would be that the solutions will be technology and layering of the evaluation process rather than one exam that's, one size fits all kind of a model.
All right, sure. But how do we reduce our reliance on entrance exams like NEET? We've seen already 21 students have lost their lives. Is there a need for a reduction on entrance exams?
Look, we are a very large country and a very diverse country, and there is, of course, going to be need for some standardized eligibility test, which is fair and transparent. I know there have been calls to go back to the older system, but then if you go to the older system, then we are faced with the same problems that are proposed to be solved with a nationwide test. So until we come up with a suitable nationwide test at every level, we are going to have to live with this. Perhaps, therefore, my proposal would be to layer it, maybe come up with a NEET Main and then NEET Advanced, And accordingly, the students can choose the colleges so that there is a fair likelihood for a test taker that he or she will get a seat.
All right.
Because that's where the anxiety is coming from, and you have one test that decides, 3-hour exam that decides. That's probably not fair to the test takers.
All right. Doctor, my next question to you is, how can India really address this enormous pressure that's created by millions of aspirants competing for a limited number of quality higher education seats, pressure that there is from the peers, from the parents, and in some cases, even the educators and facilitators?
This is going to be a big question, so I'm going to answer in short. I think some of the pressures are starting from the homes. The parents are eager to see their children succeed, and they create that environment that you have to clear this particular entrance exam or that particular entrance exam. And this anxiety from homes translates to the sprouting of numerous coaching centers. What is happening today is that our child is going through a series of coaching centers, perhaps from the primary school or secondary school onwards. And there is expected to be a fatigue factor. It is also not clear that if you don't have these degrees, that you will not succeed. There are many examples that you will succeed despite these higher education or let me say standard degrees. And so therefore, some of the ratcheting down of pressure needs to happen from home. In the schools, the counseling should be appropriate. We should not hurry them into achievements, etc. And finally, we should create a range of opportunities every stage. We have to create more employment, and I'm sure the government is working on that. But until such time that we create greater employment opportunities, there is a way to mitigate the pressures that the children face and prevent the unfortunate instances of people taking their lives.
Right. And beyond high stakes examination, Dr. Padalkar, do you think India can develop a more diversified assessment ecosystem while also preserving merit and maintaining high academic standards?
No, of course we can. And I think our schooling system, therefore, needs to see greater investment of time, money, as well as attention. There are a few good schools, perhaps, and many schools that are doing good job, but we could certainly do more in terms of preparing the student not only on the cognitive abilities or analytical abilities, but also a certain personality which gives you resilience in life. That one failure is not the end of the world. You learn, you move on, and failing is all right. You have a long life ahead of you, and there will be more opportunities for you to try your talents out and succeed. So this should be the mantra that we should hear from homes and from schools. There needs to be a movement towards that, rather than hurrying students and into an anxiety-prone world of one test and you're out. That I think is wrong.
All right, I'll ask one more question before I let you go, and thank you for joining us. Dr. Padalkar, how should India and the education system in India get an overhaul in this AI age?
Well, we are all should be part of that overhaul, and we should join together to solve the really important problem of how to educate the next generation. Okay, it's not something that one person can do or one ministry can do. We all have to get together and solve this problem. But rather than overhaul, which sounds like a dramatic change, we have to incrementalize as well, because we have to build on what we already have and then keep adding features that are going to be helpful to people.
All right. Dr. Padalkar, for now, thank you very much for joining us and taking part in this very important mission, Exam Shield, that we at NewsX are carrying.
Thank you.